Welcome to Wellness with Purpose. What if I told you the secret to your energy, your sleep, your breathing, your entire well being starts somewhere most of us completely overlook?
Don't move your body enough, period. You don't have to exercise, you just have to move, get up, walk around and sit down again at least every 20 minutes, half an hour. Either or, and we do the extreme or we don't do it. It's okay. We can be fine until we're not fine, and we don't know why we're not fine really always. So I'm thinking it's again back to sports. It's better to be prepared and do whatever you can to control. So in sports you can only control yourself typically, especially in golf. The weather you can't, the other people you can't, the course you can't, but you can control how much you practice, your attitude. If you eat the right foods, you're going to feel better too.
Not your gym, not your medicine cabinet, your mouth. So today's guest is Swedish-born dentist who played professional golf, co-founded TEDx Chicago, moved across the world and then distilled everything she knows about into one word, a Swedish word that's changed how she sees the body, the mouth, and what it really means to feel good every single day. She is the founder of Lagom Method, the author of Oral, and she is on the mission to help people understand that wellness doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to be just right for you. So Dr. Jessica Lederhausen, welcome to Wellness with Purpose.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, and a lovely introduction. I'm still not surprised, but I'm always happy when a person understands the meaning of what I'm doing. So thank you so much.
Of course, I'm glad you are here. So, of course, as you said, but I need to start here because the word Lagom has been living in my head since I first came across your work. So it's just a beautiful concept. So you grew up in Sweden, and growing up was Lagom just normal life? So, did you even think of it as a philosophy back then, or it was just the way things were?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. Because when you're in something that is being lived, you don't think about it as something special or different. Exactly. So I think Swedish style, at least back when I moved almost 30 years ago from Sweden, but I visit frequently. It's still lagom in the sense that people do more of not smaller, but lagom, not too much or too little actions in their everyday life more frequently, I think. Just transporting yourself to work or to school. You walk or you take a public transportation or you mix of it. You walk to the bus. And it's not always the most convenient, but it's not over crazy done, not convenient. So it's sort of the lagom comes in. And it just goes on. And that's how and even actually, I haven't thought about that much, but the weather in Sweden is pretty lagom. The winters are not Alaska cold, but it's not, it's sort of cold. And the summers are never really, really hot.
Yeah.
So the word is, but it's very personal. What you think is lagom, it's different for everyone. So today, the weather where I am is lagom warm, maybe I would say, and someone else would say it's so warm, I can't stand it. So I like that for my clients or people I talk to. It's very personal what we're talking about.
I love that. I really love that. It was just the water you swam in. You didn't realize something until you are stepping outside of it. So yeah.
Okay.
Before dentistry, you were a professional golfer. So that was not a small thing. What was that world like, and what made you walk away from it?
Oh, that's another good question and a big one. So I did play on the Swedish national team from I was 13, 14. And that was, I realize now, it was like playing college golf, basically. You traveled even during school year. And people I played with and against were all ages mostly up to 21, but also other times any age. So it was a fantastic experience. And I took me to UCLA to play there, which was fantastic, amazing. I just wanted to do more other things. And so I applied to dental school, which I always wanted to do something in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in, and then I told coach I'm leaving next year. So to go back to Sweden to do my grad school work. So it's a different school system and all that. So it's just different, but same outcomes. Why I did it, unclear. But then I actually played some professional golf as a semi-hobby. Or actually, I played 2 summers for real on the tour in Europe while in dental school, but we were off all summer. So that was my summer job. And after that, I played a little bit here and there, but took it not as seriously, obviously. Started having children and finished school and so on and so forth.
That's a trajectory.
Yeah, but I did. I mean, I mention it because I learned so much.
Yeah, of course.
And when I look back, and we talk later probably about my 4 pillars, but it really would have been good if I knew all that then for my achievements, probably.
Yeah,
Back to that later.
Yeah. And as you also mentioned that you moved from Stockholm to Chicago in 1999 with your husband. It was a new country, new life. So what did that transitions bring up for you?
I knew I wanted to move, but it was through my husband's work that it happened. Okay. So I didn't just come along. I actually wanted to do it. So just to say, but I knew I couldn't work as I did in Sweden, but I brought research project. I was gratefully enough engaged with a group at the Karolinska Institute. And we did work around mobile dental care. And my part was a clinical study for them. And when I moved, one of the people there stayed mentoring me through what we wanted to get through, but I didn't work around barriers to health. And that sparked interest, I think, in public health. And I took a jump and went to school again instead in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And sitting in the basement by yourself when you're an immigrant mom, it's not a great way to get integrated. So I stepped outside and took a pivot, but on the same note, but a different way. So I did a master's in public health, epidemiology, which I really enjoyed learning those things. And I keep taking classes online actually here and there. There are a lot of them nowadays. But this is at early 2000, and I'm signing up. I took a couple classes online, which was not the thing back then, but I did.
I mean, starting over a new culture is not a small thing. I mean, it's a very big shift. So when did the mouth-body connection click for you? Like, this is what I need to be talking about.
Yeah. So I always, even back at school in Sweden, I told, when I was studying, my husband was studying and he went to business school, and his friends and I was always saying, what you're doing is important. What I'm doing it's just human. So you have other things that's made up. This is just the basics of everything. Mm-hmm. So I've been a promoter of health and had a long way to actually sit down and write the whole book about it.
Wow.
I think it came about partly actually started probably when I went to school again at UIC in Chicago for my master's, because I was always the only dentist in the room, and everything we could do work around, I chose to do around public health, oral health. But and that was one thing. And another stepping stone was when I went to a TED Med conference before I started going to TED conferences. And I realized you can have multiple careers and add on. It's not instead of.
Okay.
So that gave me courage to start thinking, what can I do to give back and help people with their health with my lens? And as things are sometimes, I always go for walks and listen to podcasts around medical something. And all of a sudden, there were 2 podcasts within a short time for me that I found about a dentist talking about the subject of overall health. And then I realized that's my lane I can stay in, because that's what I come from. And that's my sort of opening. Yeah. in portal to help.
Yeah.
Through them, talk about things through the mouth.
Yeah. And that, what I'm hearing is like that kind of a realization that changes everything. And once you say it, you cannot unsay it. And once it clicked, it is there and you have to make it work. So the word legom, it's like not too much, not too little, just the right for you. So why do you think that idea is so radical in America right now?
Well, I think we are all or nothing attitude. Is that what, I mean, I didn't really hear the whole question, I think, but I think that's what you meant. So
Yeah.
a lot about all or nothing. And I'm sitting there saying you can do small changes and they compound. I mean, as a golfer, there are 18 holes. So if you do the same change 18 times, I mean, it's going to add up on your scorecard if you do something better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
So similar here, if you do small things for your health every day, almost every day, but often, it's going to compound and be helpful. But if you run to the gym and do 500 push-ups once a month, it's just going to make you ache.
Yeah. To your point, yes. Here we are really a culture of extreme. Either we are all in or completely fallen off. So there's no middle ground, and sometimes it is very exhausting. So yeah, you just rightly said that every little habits compound, and it can create a phenomenal impact on you. So earlier you were talking about that the 4 pillars. So I would want to have some maybe insights on that. So you said that your method has 4 pillars. So it's breathing, sleeping, eating, and moving. So which one surprises people the most when they realizes how much it was holding them back?
Okay, I think when I speak to people, sleep seems to be the thing that bothers most people the most.
Okay.
I think the breathing is more of a really reaction. I have to try that, or what do you mean? And can I learn more? Eating, we all have our own ideas about it, I think, and as well as moving. So that's different. It's more longer conversation, not convincing anybody about anything. Actually, it's more like inspiring, I hope.
Yeah. So can you help me understand this? Like, for you, what does oral health actually have to do with how I sleep or how stressed I am or how my energy levels are? So can you make that connection real for me?
Well, yes, the actual connection is the oral microbiome. So when it's out of balance, things starts to happen negatively in the mouth and also outside the mouth, worst case.
So you're talking about the microbiome in the mouth.
Yes, oral microbiome.
Okay.
So as everything, I think most things in life and in the body, it needs to be in balance. I mean, you can eat this or that, but if you do too much of one thing, your body is reacting. But the connection is I would say, the oral microbiome. And so a good example and easy to understand, I think, is when you sleep with an open mouth or talk for a long time, you get dry in your mouth, and then that's the oral microbiome gets shifted. Typically, like now I'm talking and you're talking, and maybe after this we're going to drink some water and sort of be quiet for a while, and it's going to balance back.
Okay.
But if you sleep for 6-8 hours every night with open mouth, you're actually putting yourself in a bad situation, and there can be consequences then with that gum disease or cavities, or worst case, or also that the bacteria can go out in the body to other places, which we always know, and we've known for a long time that cardiovascular disease had that. You could see that. That's why people had to take antibiotics when you go to the dentist if you have cardiovascular disease. So now we know we can find, because technology is so much better, we can see more. So we can find, the list is long with diseases who have not the cause, but there is a causality, that because you see those bacteria in these diseases in other places in the body.
I can hear like it's all so connected. I mean, nobody even talked. This is the part which is very less talked about. And we treat our mouth like it's a separate from everything else. But as you mentioned, it feels like literally it's the starting point.
Yeah, I mean, even the gut microbiome that has been luckily and fantastically talked about the last 10 years. I mean, obviously we know about it longer, but it's been more out there. So even then, I went to a presentation with a fantastic speaker. I was so interested. I always look for speakers with my team for TEDx Chicago. And a person showed, a lecturer showed a slide of a torso without a head. And I sat there thinking, I mean, there's something wrong here. That the food or anything goes in the mouth, hopefully, and down to the gut. But that's getting better. We talk about the connection between those, and it's not so easy either because it's a long way down before it gets to the.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, through.
And what do you see that people make a biggest mistake when it comes to their health? So, or maybe they have no idea that they are actually doing it consciously or unconsciously.
Wow. Okay, so I'm not going to overthink the question. It's a really good question. I do think the mistake we make, all of us probably at times, is thinking, I can do this, it's fine, and you overdo. You don't sleep enough. You eat bad food too often, and you don't move your body enough, period. I mean, you don't have to exercise. You just have to move, get up, walk around and sit down again, at least every 20 minutes, half an hour. So it's not these, I think we're thinking, like you said before, it's either or, and we do the extreme or we don't do it. It's okay. I mean, I'll be fine. And we can be fine until we're not fine, and we don't know why we're not fine really always. So I'm thinking it's again back to sports. It's better to be prepared and do whatever you can to control. I mean, can control. So in sports, you can only control yourself, typically, especially in golf. The weather, you can't. The other people, you can't. The course, you can't. But you can control how much you practice, your attitude, if you have slept, if you eat the right foods. And so that's a good foundation to at least do what you know you should do and build on that. Because you're going to feel better too. I think that I did something good for myself rather than I ate another pound of ice cream. And it feels good when you do it. I love that.
Sometimes, not every time.
Yeah, but not afterwards. It doesn't feel good. That's the point.
Yeah.
So we could be a little more lagom with our cravings and.
Yes, that's so real that you said that keep moving. And I think a lot of people are going to hear and I am just have a thought that everybody will have a quiet moment of recognition, like keep moving. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But I also promote, I try really hard to do relaxation, meditation mix, half an hour to 50 minutes a day. So it's not always about doing more. That's my time where I do less. And I think that's been very helpful for my overall health.
You need to balance. You have to have a balance of both, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like building something new, you have built the method, the book, the boot camp. So what's been the hardest part of getting people to take this seriously?
Yeah, I know. I haven't figured that out really. So I told myself, the book came out 2 years ago already, and it was something new to me. I've never written before. And so that's taken time. And I still have, the book is a entry point, I guess, to what I'm doing beyond the book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard to find my place to talk about this in the right room. So for now, I'm taking my next step is now to work towards the dentist and hygienist basically only. I've been talking to the public before, anybody who was interested. And I just want to focus in and see what happens with that.
Yeah, you will get there. And credibility is really hard earned. So it takes time. And I completely agree with you. So So what are some things that you have tried to grow this? Like, have you spread the messages, reach more people that just didn't pan out the way you hoped?
What I've done, I do webinars, which is it's a fun, and I've done small groups. I love doing circle groups with discussion groups
Okay.
where I educate, but we also talk as a group, and people can, get homework to try to add or take away, but add smaller habits. So that way, I want to introduce to dentists as well, the same way. I don't want to come out and tell people what to do and jump, in 30 minutes and then I leave. I think it's more interesting if you actually talk about things, because this is personal and it's everybody knows what I'm talking about when you say sleep or eat. And so why and what we need to do. And I think it's really interesting with the group because everybody did a different take on things. And it's not like people tell each other what to do, but when we talk about it, things comes up and we try to summarize what was said in the meetings. Mm-hmm. And I give out a lot of reading suggestions and podcasts to listen to in their spare time. So I think that's been really fun for me.
So can you walk me through what the real week looked like for you, like running this? Between the clients, the boot camp, the content, everything. And
my year, you said?
My week, your real week. What does the real week look like for you?
Okay, so I just had a big birthday, so I turned 60.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, and I have 4 children who are married, and we have 11 grandkids. So
congratulations!
Yeah, thank you. So earlier in life, I ran hard and fast, and I seem to have done a few things for like 8-10 years intensely. Mm-hmm. And I ran fast. I forget place and I forget to call my kids basically. And so this time around I said, this is it. Have you heard Jane Fonda's third act, her TED talk?
Yeah.
It's really good. So this is my third act, so to say. Okay. So I'm going to slow down and it's going to take whatever it takes. And the only thing I want to is inform people that it matters what you put in your mouth and what you don't put in your mouth and what you do and my 4 pillars. And it's not complicated and everybody basically understand. It gets complicated when I explain the microbiome, but that could be done in a few minutes, actually, how that works. Mm-hmm. But the rest should be, I think, interesting and opportunity to just become a better you.
That's such a real answer.
But I also want to add, I'm fascinated by, without complaining or being rude, but I think dentists could participate a little more in the overall health discussions with their patients I could help, but with my 4 pillars, and I'm sure there are more things to add, connectivity and all, but that comes in with my eating actually, and love and life, but just a few tips. And let's see the patient and ask the patient, just a little thing like what your work of hours are, because if you're working at night, your saliva is not working the same way. So if you eat to stay awake at night because you're working night shifts, it might be a reason why you do have cavities. And what can we do to help you instead of just fixing the cavities and see you next year? And I'm not saying they're rude. I'm just saying I hope we can have more of that conversation. And some have some and some have none, I think, basically. Wonderful. So that's part of my mission for this next part.
Okay. So are you are also doing some kind of a boot camp? So how are you preparing for it?
That's just a name I call the course I have, the 4 pillars for a while, but I took that off and I call it something else now, I think.
So are you still doing it 5 days a week or it's based on the number of clients you are handling?
Yes, no, I don't. And I'm not going to do that now. I want to focus and see what happens with the dental community.
Okay.
But I might I've done for group of friends, I've done a lot of those circles. And I think I'm going to offer my friends again in the fall to do a series of 3 to discuss things. But otherwise, so my work week it varies so much. And it's hard to say, but I try to get.
Yeah, because I see that now you have so many moving pieces along with your family, and now you want to slow down. So of course, I mean, you are balancing both the worlds, and you turn 60. I people used to say like 50s are the new 30s, and I think 60s is the new 40s.
I don't know what it is, but I still have the energy, but I feel like
Yeah, kudos to
I
you.
want to be now present. Yeah.
Kudos to you.
But I also want to have some impact and get this moving. And I'm not the only one. It has changed a lot since I started writing the book.
Okay.
So much more out there. And I just want to participate and not run too fast. And
Okay.
I'm not chasing more likes on my Instagram. I'm just hoping people.
It would reach to more audiences and people. Okay.
Yeah. No, I just want people to take actions. So maybe I should ask them if they do rather than, I haven't thought about that. I should do that. Yeah, but it's what the world we live in. It's you think you have 500 or 2,000 friends because that's not, so you have to keep it a little real.
Yeah. I think I know the answer of the next question, but because you have already expressed yourself, but again, I just wanted to talk it out. Like, if you're talking a year from now, what would you have to be true for you to feel like this method is really reaching the people who need it? And what does the success look like to you?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. And I think about that. So yes. So for now, if I don't have a number, but if I reach, like I said, dentists and have conversations with their teams, it could be one touch point for 30 minutes, or it could be a series. And I want to give them the chance to almost like a quick fix. I mean, I read a lot of books, and I'm not the expert, but I gathered information from the experts. So instead of them reading all these books, I've done it for them. So I can tell them what more, and they can get it quicker and implement if they want to. So if I have I don't know how many, but if I reach enough to make me happy, I have to come up with a number before the summer. Then I'll be happy. And to see that people implement something new that I think can be great for the patients. And I think the team and the dentists and hygienists, they would feel so good if they could help people move a little bit to a healthier lifestyle. If it didn't, because it so varies for each person, the thresholds. Some people can eat whatever and do whatever and they're fine. And some people are not fine, even if they do everything. So you don't know. But if you do go to the dentist and have a cavity, there is something that can be changed.
Yeah, of course.
To support the oral microbiome, to support your saliva, which the saliva and the microbiome supports your oral health. That's the...
Yeah.
So I draw that out, like 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Glad I asked that question again. Somewhere in my mind. So for someone who's been running on fumes, who's been ignoring these pillars, what do you think that what does actually cause them over time? And like, what would be the real price of not addressing this sooner?
Again, it's very personal and different, but I think we live in a world, Western world, that thinks you're a hero if you sleep little. But I don't really think it's a good idea according to studies. I'm sure there are studies that say the opposite, but I'm pretty sure we need to sleep like any other animals. And of course, when you're young, you can get away with it, but it's going to catch up. So it's time. Even if what did you say? The 50s is the 30s. Yes, sure. But there are things. Maybe sleep is one of those that you should take care of yourself a little more.
Absolutely, yes. Quietly, that hits.
Exactly, yeah. And then it's little late. Yeah.
So, like, now I'll shift a gear on something like where we are right now. Do you see like AI fitting into this wellness world? Is it helpful, or is it threat, or is it some kind of you think that it's just noise at that point?
I love my AI companion because I put all my health data in. I did that tests that I've been taking the last couple of years. And asked for some suggestions for things, and I have it in one place, and I think it's great. Why not? But I mean, I talked to my doctor. I use the doctors for my health, but I thought this is a tool for me to keep it in one place. And also, I think I asked once about, I don't remember what it was, if I should take another something vitamin. There was something I asked what it would do
Okay.
to others, which I could have asked a doctor, but you don't get in touch with people that easily. So I just asked.
So it's like this, you are just using the chat mode right now, like you are, and maybe having a repository of your document somewhere and having a discussion with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, as I said, I do speak to my doctor and dentist, and I do.
Of course.
So I don't skip that part, but I just gather. I thought the feeling of gathering in one place could be done in many ways, but I thought that was a good way.
So I usually ask this question to all my guests, like if they have like 8 or 10 extra hours freed up every week, what could they actually do with that time?
Extra time. Whenever I have a minute, I fill it up. I enjoy reading. It's sort of, I would like to do more of that. That would be one thing.
I mean, usually that kind of answers, it tells that what really matters to you. I mean, you love reading, so of course you want to have more time. So like if you go back in time, what would you say to your younger self who was just figuring this all out?
I think I don't know. I don't know. For life, I mean, overall for life, I don't think I would say slow down when we were young. I mean, I had the 4 kids in my 20s and ran dentistry and played golf. I wouldn't change that. I mean, it was hard. I mean, not hard even. It was, and I have to maybe go, if I done, the thing is, whatever I did, I learned so much. So if after my master's, I didn't find a path to go forward with that, so I pivoted and opened a store in my local community. It's totally different. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have learned so much about the American culture and whatever, I think. So I don't know. But sometimes I play with the idea, what would I have done then? And it was way too early for this, what I do now. So, but one thing I always done, I would say, is I've been a little early with all my things I did. So, except being a dentist, I guess. But when I played my golf, it wasn't in to play golf, really. Not that people would tease me when I was a kid, but they didn't. I almost did, I guess. And then when I did my the store I just mentioned, it was also a little early. And then when I did, I mean, it's been a little early. That's why this time I'm going to hang in and just see what's happening with it. That's my only learning, I guess.
Okay. I love that. I love that. So what are you building towards right now? And what's the next chapter for the Lagom Method?
Well, I already mentioned the next thing I want to do is to really touch the dentist and hygienist more. That wasn't my focus at all earlier. And I want to build, I mean, I'm one player or many, but I want to help them, the clinics, the dentists and their teams, like I said, to communicate a little more overall wellness. When they spend 3 minutes with the patient talking, they can just put it in there. Maybe I can make a brochure. They can give out a pamphlet or I don't know, something that would be amazing, I think. This is an opportunity. You see your dentist. I just looked it up. I think 50% plus see a dentist every year. A lot of it is actually preventative. It's not always because something is broken. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not the same number for medical. I think medical is more something is broken, so you see someone every year, but it's I don't know that number, so I shouldn't say that. But it's an opportunity. And I would be happy if it happened.
It's good to have your vision, and I could feel that you have a very clear vision, and that's what makes it worth building. So kudos to you. So now we are coming to an end. So Dr. Jessica Lederhausen, this conversation was very intriguing and very eye-opening to me. I have researched you a lot, but thank you for bringing the Lagom lenses to this audience, because We needed it. And to everyone who's listening, if this resonated with you, send it to the person in your life who's been grinding too hard and calling it health. They need this more than they know. And you can find Dr. Jessica at the lagommethod.com, and you can grab her book Oral wherever books are sold.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you.
a lot.